Hi, Abby. Welcome, everybody, to our first webinar dealing with one of my favourite subjects, which is content marketing. So before we start today, just a couple of housekeeping rules. Firstly, please make sure you put your microphone on mute so that we can't hear your phone going off or hear you texting all your mates. And also, if you've got any questions, please feel free to send them through as we go. So there'll be a question and answer section at the end. I want to introduce to you one of my team, which is Abigail Jones. She's joining us today. Abby's our content creation executive. She has a degree in journalism and she is a passionate writer, and luckily for us and for our clients, she's exceptional at it. So welcome, Abby.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
So what's so great about content marketing and why do I love it so much? Well, I think sometimes we can get a little bit caught up in ourselves and what we think so good about our brand and what we think so good about our project or our product. But content marketing really is all about the customer, not you. And it can be a two-way conversation instead of a monologue. One of my real passions, well, it's not really a passion, but it's more of a peeve, is that we send out screaming sales messages at people as soon as they've started to engage with us. So, you know, we get their details and all of a sudden we're saying 5% deposit, $10,000 off. You've really got to understand that it's got to be a two-way conversation at the start. Content marketing is also really dynamic and it's easy to change and there's less risk. It's got a longer shelf life. It also provides some proof that marketing is working. And one of my other passions is the fact that I believe that marketers, we get a really bum rap, and that when there's a problem to be solved, all of a sudden we've magically got to turn no sales into 20 sales. And in this environment, there's never been a more important time for marketers to step up to the plate. It is also is really good content marketing to help with word of mouth referrals because people can share your content, and also it happens before, during and after a sale. So there's some of the reasons why I love content marketing. And there are some rules around content marketing. And my first one, of anyone who's ever worked with me will know that, or has been to one of our content sessions, is that you need to educate first and sell second and avoid sales speak. So there's always a push to push out a sales message. And as marketers, we've got to actually say to the rest of the project team or to the boss or whoever it happens to be, there's a time and a place for sales speak, and it's not always in the first 5 minutes of interacting with somebody. The other rule is consistency. So if you're going to start it, you actually need to keep going, and you need to pick a time when you are going to produce and send out your content. You have to fill a need. So there's no point in just putting out content because you think it's a good story to share. It needs to satisfy one of your customers' needs. And it's okay to be human. It's okay to sometimes just have a little twist on their corporate speak. And it's also okay to have a point of view. Now, if you work for a big publicly listed company, perhaps having a point of view needs to be left to others. But, there is a place in it for content to have a point of view. And always try and be best of breed. Don't copy anybody else. Just get your strategy straight and then be best at what you do. So I'm going to take you through, before we get to the types of content and some ideas for you, I'm just going to take you through our customer lifecycle map that we work with. And today we're going to focus on the 4 coloured circles on the right. So if we're looking at this diagram, let's just presume you're getting online, you've got some lead gen coming in. So you've got some digital campaigns or builder referrals or developer referrals that are coming into your sales pipeline. And there's loads of models like this, but I like this model because it's an ever churning. So people just don't stay still. They can go from awareness to decision in a week, or it could take them a year. They go between interest and intent to nearly making a decision, back up to awareness. So these wheels are always spinning. So today we're going to talk to you about what you can do in the awareness stage. Then we're going to talk to you about what you can do in the interest, intent, and also decision phase. And finally, we'll give you some ideas around what you can do with existing customers. So people who've already purchased from you, and they might not have settled their block of land, or they might not have finished or started building their home, but they're really, really important because, as you see on that diagram, they become referrals. So let's talk about the awareness phase. So the lead comes in. What should you be doing? Well, you need to focus on building authority and trust. And you do this by providing high quality content, and you house it on the website, and you do it in a variety of formats. So what do I mean by that is that in the beginning, usually we say, you can download our brochure if you give us your information. And then we should deliver them some further content to get them used to your brand. And you need to do it consistently in the very beginning, because velocity is really key for them to start to go, okay, I made an inquiry at Falling Waters Estate, and I'm getting EDMs from them for the next 7 days. That's fine, because then they're educating me on what they're all about, and I'm starting to build trust with them. So some ideas for the awareness stage. So consistent trust building content, really valuable downloads. So this is the educate first, sell second part. Make sure your content has got really good SEO. Search engine marketing is excellent at this time. Also pushing all your messages out through social media. And I want to focus on this last point, which is working with your sales team. We do a lot of mystery shopping, and this is what we find. We make a series of inquiries to a lot of different projects, let's say, at the same time. And we will get a response sometimes within a minute, sometimes within 24 hours. And the response goes something like this. If I'm working, I'm not picking up my phone, and they'll leave a message, and it'll go, oh, hi Mary, it's John here from Falling Waters Estate. You made an inquiry. Can you please call me back on 0417 930 125? Thanks. Now just remember that I'm at work. Firstly, I'm not answering it. You've left a message, your sales team's left a message, and they've ticked a box in your CRM to say that they've done a follow-up. The point I'm making here is that content is not necessarily all about writing and blogs and social. It can also be about the conversation that your sales team is having. It's a really good time now for you to work with them around, what does that conversation look like? What does that message look like? What does the follow-up EDM and the follow-up text look like? So in an ideal situation, your sales team should be, yes, calling people back and taking their time and having a well-crafted message. They should also then be sending a text saying, hey, John, I was Mary, wasn't I? Hey, Mary, this is John here. I just left you a message. I'm from Falling Waters. You made an inquiry. And then follow it up with an EDM with some options about how they can get in touch. So that's an opportunity for you right now, is working with your sales team on their verbal and written content. Let's move now to the prospects in the interest and intent through to the decision phase. In these phases, you should be focusing on conversational marketing and assigning live calls with prospects to the strongest team members. And I say that because not everybody is a really good caller. And all this technology we've got going on now, so again, it's a great time. Work with your sales team on how can they craft their project or product or house presentation and do it like we're doing now in a webinar or a meeting. So that's another opportunity that you've got, is to say, hey, prospects, we can do live calls where we're going to take you through what our project or product is. And make sure right at this time you've got lots of educational content on the website. So I'm looking for you to help solve my problems. I'm looking for you to have all the answers to my questions, and I'm looking to find it on your website when I'm ready. Not when you tell me I can go there, when I'm ready. So the opportunity in the interest, intent and decision phase is to make sure you're the one that's solving all their problems through having really good educational content on your website. Some activities that you can do during this phase. Video. So videos don't have to be perfectly professionally done. They can be done on an iPhone. If you've got a brand that really, it's all about the, the look and the feel and all that sort of stuff, I get it. But carve off a little piece of your business where it's okay to be authentic. And if you can't get a camera crew out there, at least you can have somebody do it on their phone. Phone calls are really important, and also working with your sales team to make sure that they're getting the right information from that phone call. There's no point in just going, hey, it's John here, how you doing, you know, something like that. Or as I had on the weekend, if you're not interested in buying, if you're interested in buying, I'd really do it this weekend because we've got deals. And if you don't buy this weekend, you're going to really be sorry. Well, no, I won't be. You know, that's not a well-crafted phone call. And as a marketer, if you've got a well-crafted phone call and they're giving you some really valuable information, you can start to target the main group of people if you've got that information. You can utilize live chat, webinar like we're doing now, email marketing, social media, and finally retargeting. So retarget all those people with these messages about your content. Retargeting doesn't always just have to be sales messages. Retargeting can also be, hey, did you see our blog on consumer trends or color trends or a piece of research that we've done? There's some opportunities here. Present your product that meets their requirement. So it might be that you've if your database is any good and you can pick out all the people who are first home buyers, it might be that you can actually get some product that's right for them and just work with that group of people. So if you've got 4,000 people on your database, don't try and be all things to all people. Just take it down a little bit, take a chunk out of them and do some testing to see if you can get some people moving through the phase by giving them information that solves their problem. Get some other experts in to answer questions. So I've got Abby in today and she's going to, she's our content expert, so she's going to answer some questions. And also make sure that you've got all the legal information explained and available online. So if I really want to make that decision, that I've got the information there that I can shoot out to my legal advisor and, you know, we don't have to have a human exchange. And the final section I want to talk about is the loyalty section, because they're your existing clients and they're your best source of referrals. And we all know if they're happy, they'll tell one person, and if not, they'll tell 20. And they've got a lot of time to spare right now. and they're, like all of us, they're looking on their phone all the time to see who's got the most hilarious video or meme out there. So it's a really good time right now to reinforce to them why they built or purchased from you in the first place. Here's some things that you can do with existing clients. So focus on the great service that you provide and reinforce that. Now, if you've got some issues around the level of service that you provide, perhaps you need to have a conversation with management about now is not the time to have bad service. Some other things, a seasonal check-in or a follow-up. Hey everybody, how are you doing? We've created this guide, we've created this something or other that you can join in. Send some gifts and thank yous. Thanks for being a part of our awesome community. And it might be that, you know, the only place that we can go at the moment is to a cafe. So it might be that you're sending them a little voucher to the local cafe. A couple of great things come out of that. You're supporting your local cafe and everybody's thinking, oh, that's nice. These people really care about me. And it's just the little things right now that are really going to get the most cut through. Send them some emails, and don't be sending them emails on the latest, you know, here's the latest release. If they want to find out the information about, you know, how much the land is going for, they'll pick up the phone or they'll find out themselves. I really think that this group of people needs to be treated differently. Great time to be doing really educational, entertaining blogging with them, some retargeting campaigns. Also share with them what your internal team's doing right now, because they're familiar faces. So if you're a builder and you've got your colour selection specialist, get them to do a, hey, I'm still working, here's me in our colour showroom. I look forward to seeing all those who are coming up with their colour appointment. And finally, now's a really good time to ask for referrals. So referrals are free, but it's okay to say thank you by offering some sort of gift or cash reward. A couple of ideas for existing clients. Leverage your suppliers and your experts' content. So you've got a lot of other people that you work with who've got content. So, and they'd like to be getting their message out too. So if you're a builder, you know, go to your paint supplier, go to your tap supplier and tell that story. Share research or trend information, as long as it's not doom and gloom. Or if your community doesn't have a Facebook page, perhaps now is a really good time to start one, but also make sure that you can hand it over to them for them to manage without you. You don't want to be answering, has anybody seen my cat? Abby, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you very much. So there are so many different types of content that you can produce for your customers. And right now is a really important time to understand all of the different types of content and which ones really suit your brand, because your customers have more time than ever to be on their phone, on their laptop, researching you, clicking through everything that you're posting. So while I'm talking, feel free to have a look at those icons that are on the screen there and decide which ones you think are most appropriate for your brand, because not all of them are going to be appropriate for you. So just pick the ones that really matter to you and focus on those. So there are so many ways you can approach creating content and what types of content you want to produce. But something that the Property Republic team really like to do is starting with the blog. And the reason why we do this is because it's a really versatile medium that can be easily shared and really easily digested by customers and visitors to your website. It's also important that your blogs are situated on your website, which means that whenever you are creating a post about a blog or sending out an EDM, by posting about your blog, you're able to drive traffic to your website because that's where it sits. And that's really important as well. Another thing about blogs that's so great is that because all of the information is there and written in your blog, it becomes really easy to turn that blog into other types of content. So for example, you can turn one blog into 3 or 4 different social posts. If your blog talks about lots of statistics or numbers or things that can be quite complex, you can turn that into an infographic. You can also turn the points in your blog into a video by having someone hold up their iPhone and talk through the points that are spoken about in the blog. You can also chop and change your blog a little bit to send it out in a newsletter or an EDM to your customers. And that doesn't involve rewriting it completely. It might just be changing the points around or having a different intro. And then if you have a series of blogs that talk about similar topics, you can put all of these blogs together to create an ebook that your customers can type in their details and download. And that adds a lot of value. So that takes me to my next point, which is about repurposing. So everybody likes to consume media in different ways. So it's important that you respond to the ways that your current and potential customers like to consume media. Not everybody wants to sit there and read a blog. Not everybody wants to sit there and watch a video. So it's important that while you don't need to produce every single type of content that was just listed, it is important that you do produce a few of them, whether it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or more. So what's really important to understand is that repurposing content is not the same as republishing content. So if you're just copy pasting the exact same thing in the exact same format and pushing it out there, that can become really tedious and really irritating for your visitors and your readers. So it's important that you're using the same content, the same points, but just rejigging it a little bit, putting it into a different format. So the table that we've got here is just something that we slapped together super quickly, and we thought about what would first home buyers like to know about. So we sorted that into 4 different pillars. We've got finance, product, location, and style and trends. And underneath those pillars, we have lots of different topics as well that would fall within the pillar. So if we just focus on the finance section, and you're creating content that talks about the financial aspects of buying a home for a first home buyer, it's likely that a lot of those blogs that you're writing to do with finance are going to be quite confusing, or they're going to have quite a lot of numbers, or they're going to talk about specific grants that first home buyers are eligible for. So you could group all of those blogs that you've written and put that into a really comprehensive guide. And that doesn't involve a lot of writing because you've already got the blogs already there. So you just group them all together. You might do a little bit of reshuffling, maybe a tiny bit of rewriting, and there you have a really valuable first home buyer's guide that's all about finance. Something else you might like to do is turn those statistics and figures into infographics that are really easily digestible and more exciting to read or to go through. You can even film a short video on your phone. So if there's a sales rep who's really good with first home buyers, or who's really charismatic and can talk really well, get them to pick up their phone and record themselves talking about some of the grants or some of the things that first home buyers need to know related to finance. And if you want to get an expert opinion involved to really add some more credibility to what you're writing, you can organize to have an interview with a mortgage broker or a financial expert. And if you plan soon enough in advance, you can organize to have a webinar like we are doing now. So Judy has me talking about content. You can also have a webinar for first home buyers where you invite a mortgage broker or a finance expert to come and talk about all the things they need to know. You can also record that and turn that into a podcast segment if podcasts are right for you. And while you're unable to meet face-to-face with someone in the current conditions, in the future, that's something you could plan for as well. You could film the interview that you're having with an expert, and that can be chopped and changed into lots of small videos that you can share on socials, or it can be one long professionally produced video that you can share. So you've got your different content types and you've got a plan for how you're going to repurpose them. The next step is to think about distribution. And that's all about how you're going to share all of the different content that you've produced. So you can see in the little Venn diagram here, we've got paid media, owned media, and earned media. Now, paid media and owned media, they're the 2 factors that you have control over. But if you are delivering really high value content on your paid media sites and owned media sites, you will receive the earned media because their shares, mentions, reposts, retweets, So it's really important that you focus on the paid and owned media first and really concentrate on delivering high value content. So paid media and owned media are pretty much like sending out EDMs to your database, or EDMs that are being sent out to your suppliers or your partners' databases. It's your social accounts and the posts that you are sharing on your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. It's also your website, so your blogs, and also making sure that your blogs and all of the content that's housed on your website has accurate meta descriptions that will help you to rank higher on Google, and that will essentially make it easier for people to find you. And it's also your search engine marketing. I guess the most important aspect of everything I've just spoken about is not trying to jump in and do everything all at once, and not trying to be all things to all people. There are only going to be certain types of content that are going to be right for your brand, and you don't have to jump in and do 5 or 6 right now. But perhaps if you can just take 2 or 3 from the ones that I've just spoken about and focus on those, and become experts at those, become really good at delivering those types of content. And once you've mastered those, you can move on to doing different types of content and distributing those as well.
Thanks, Abby. So just a couple of final words before we take some questions. Your content needs to educate first, sell second. It's an internal battle, I know, for some of you, where all they want you to do is put out for sale messages, but particularly at the beginning of the journey, you need to educate people about your brand. You need to educate them about your product. You need to educate them about why choosing you is the best decision. Deliver your content in multiple formats and channels so that it's available in a way that consumers want to digest it. As Abby's just talked about, take one thing, take a blog, turn it into something else, an infographic, a little video, some social posts. This way you can get much, much more out of one piece of content. And then the final thing is practice is better than perfection. So today is a classic example about practice is better than perfection. So we made a decision about a week or 2 ago that we wanted to do this webinar because we wanted to connect with the marketers in the property industry. And I've got to tell you, I've never done a webinar before. I've participated in lots of them, but we've just decided to have a crack today. I'm grateful for that for a couple of reasons, because I actually put on a dress, I put earrings on, and I put on lipstick, and I haven't done very much of that in the last couple of weeks. And I've actually even put heels on today too, which was a bit weird for doing a webinar. So we hope that you found that of benefit. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to master the art of repurposing content for a quick half-hour clinic. But if anybody's got any questions, unmute your microphone or send them through. We'd be happy to answer them.
So Monica's sent through one in the Q&A. And she's asked, how can we keep momentum? We get on top of it and then it falls behind. Any tips for staying on top of content?
Yeah, because marketers these days have got so much to do. You need to be digital experts, social experts, event experts, webinar experts. You've got to be experts in everything. It's a little unfair. I'll just have my little personal thing. You know, if you're a sales consultant, you get given an extra resource, but because you're a marketer, you've got to actually become experts in all these things. Okay, now I'll answer the question. The thing is to have a, start with a strategy. If you've got a strategy to keep on top of it, you can actually have your whole content for the whole year planned out, and it doesn't have to be as overwhelming. So we can, things like getting on top of it, you know, for a 3-month period and then reviewing it. I find that helps. We do it a month in advance. We do a big session at the beginning of the year about what our content is going to be all about, and what of all the ideas. And we have a methodology of going through how we can get those ideas. You know, it's difficult, but I just think it's really valuable. But also, don't take the burden on yourself. Ask other people for ideas. Get your project team together on a webinar and say, hey, everybody, tell me all the problems we think our customers have, and tell me ideas that we can help to solve them. That's going to give you lots of content ideas. Hope that answers your question. And hi, Mon. Do we have any other questions, Alex? Oh, did I just do something?
No, that's okay. That's just the end of the slideshow. But no, I can't see any other questions in the Q&A.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Just a reminder that we will be back next Tuesday at 12 o'clock, and we hope that you can join us. You'll also shortly receive a survey, and we really appreciate your feedback. This is the first time we've done this. So good, bad, indifferent, we'd love to hear from you. See you next week.